Just Antoine here with Daily Living with Proverbs. We're looking at Proverbs chapter 5 and pitfalls of immorality. And so, verse 1 says, "My son, be attentive to my wisdom, godly wisdom learned by costly experience. Incline your ear to my understanding." Some things you get by just being in the right place at the right time, experiencing some things, right? And then an even greater way is to learn from somebody else's experience, right? So you don't have to go through the trouble that they had to, or the experience they had to go through to get where they are. Verse 2 says that you may exercise discrimination and discretion, good judgment, and your lips may reserve knowledge and answer wisely to temptation. And so when you're seeking after good understanding and godly wisdom, it will protect you, right? It'll cause you to be able to discriminate what is good, what is um, advantageous for you, what will aid you and assist you in your path that you're choosing to go down. Verse 3 says, "For the lips of an immoral woman drip honey like a honeycomb, and her speech is smoother than oil." You got to watch those smooth talkers, right? You want to be able to discern that and say, hey, something ain't right. A lot of times when things don't feel right, it's because they're not right. But you need to investigate it. Don't just run over red flags. Investigate. Take your time. Slow down. Say, hey, what is this feeling that I have? Why am I having this feeling? What's going on? Verse 4, "But in the end she is bitter like the extract of wormwood, sharp as a two-edged sword." Dangerous. Dangerous, in other words. "Her feet go down to death. Her steps take hold of Sheol, the netherworld, and the place of the dead." Verse 6 says, so that she does not think seriously about the path of life, her ways are aimless and unstable. You cannot know where her path leads. And you want to avoid people that don't know where they're going, right? Because if you don't know where you're going, anywhere will do. And you will find yourselves in bad places where you don't need to be. It says, now then, my sons, listen to me, and do not forget the words of my mouth. You gotta grab hold of wise teaching. Let your way in life be as far from her, and do not go near the door of her house. Avoid even being near the places of temptation. So if you know you have a problem with certain things, you need to steer away from it. Sometimes they try to follow you, but you got to gain strength and just be able to move around. Don't allow that temptation to overtake you. Verse 9 says, "Or you will give your honor to others and your years to the cruel one." So you're robbing yourself of a better life when you give your honor to others. Verse 10 says, "And strangers will be filled with your strength, and your hard-earned wealth will go to the house of a foreigner who does not know God." And so you want to give your things that you know when you choose to lie with wickedness and idleness, then you giving up your goods. You're giving up your best life. You're giving up your wisdom and honor. Verse 11 says, and you will groan when your life is ending, when your flesh and your body are consumed, because you're not going to have any peace. Why? Because you chose to go down a different path. Verse 12 says, and you say, how I hated instruction and discipline, and my heart despised correction and reproof. We want to get to a place where we delight when the Lord sends somebody to tell us what we're doing wrong, to give us solutions for our problematic way of thinking. Verse 13, I have not listened to the voice of my teachers, nor have I inclined my ear to those who instructed me. When the student appears, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. We have to be ready to receive what God has for us. God, I want wisdom. I want to be able to operate in your laws and under your statutes. And guess what? He'll send people your way to give you instruction. Verse 14 says, I was almost in total ruin in the midst of the assembly and congregation. Wow, you can be in the right place, but have the wrong outlook, and it will destroy you. Verse 15 says, drink water from your own cistern of a pure marriage relationship, and fresh water from your own well. He says, don't go after somebody else's. Be content with what you have of your own. Should your springs, children, be dispersed as streams of water in the streets. Verse 17 says, confine yourself to your own wife. Let your children be yours alone, and not the children of strangers with you. God says, guard your family. Don't just put anybody around your family. Protect them. Let your fountain, your wife, be blessed with the rewards of fidelity, and rejoice in the wife of your youth. Verse 17, let her be as a loving hind and a graceful doe. Let her breast refresh and satisfy you at all times. Always be exhilarated and delight in her love. Verse 20 says, why should you, my son, be exhilarated with an immoral woman and embrace the bosoms of an outsider pagan? Verse 21 says, for the ways of man are directly before the eyes of the Lord, and he carefully watches all of his paths and all of his comings and goings. Verse 22, the iniquities done by a wicked man will trap him, and he will be held with the cords of his sin. Ain't that something? Be held with your own cords of sin. Verse 23, our last verse, he will die for a lack of instruction, which is discipline. And in the greatness of his foolishness, he will go astray and be lost. Wow. So we have to not go down and try to lie with someone or be enamored by people that are not our spouses. We need to embrace our spouses and love them and let them satisfy us. And don't accept any other thoughts. Don't dwell on any other thoughts that's contrary to that. I'm just Antoine with your daily living with Proverbs. Y'all be blessed. Share and subscribe and like. And we'll see you guys at the top. Bye for now.